I might have. I don't know if I have something.
Do you have a regular pen
Yeah.
that I can give?
Yeah. Not a marker.
Check, check, check.
I think he was just asking for a pen.
If you guys need more pens.
For what?
I can do some.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of them just wanted one. I have a couple too in my bag.
Yeah, what do you need?
It's a good question. Where's my computer and why isn't it done?
What do they need? Do you want me to go into your thing?
Why did my whole computer?
Oh, it's 12:03.
Yeah, that's horrifying, but everything's still running.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
It might create more.
Recording in progress.
Hey, streaming on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Now it's charging.
You
It's
need
like
my charger?
I have one.
Okay.
Am I streaming on
Mine's
YouTube?
like
Okay.
charged.
Okay. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna email what I need printed.
What was that?
I'm gonna email you what I need printed.
Okay.
Just print out the whole email, okay?
Oh, it's not like an attachment.
Nope, just you know how to print an email?
Print.
Think so?
It's up in
File
the
print.
file print.
Okay, yeah.
Print out like 5 copies just in case.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I got the computer shutting off. Probably the most horrifying thing that's happened to me all week. And it's only Tuesday.
Keep your eye on the battery.
Yeah.
Did you plug in your other charger? Are you?
Yeah, it was like the battery to the thing wasn't in all the way. Oh my God, turn my video off.
That's what he asked me before. He's like, oh, like, why is your thing say that? Because it would just show the camera
Yeah.
like, symbol. I was like, I don't.
I think your mic is also on, just saying.
Good morning, everyone, or afternoon. Ooh, good afternoon, everyone. We are commencing the Committee on Children, our JF meeting today. Item number 2 is remarks by the chairs. So I've said my hello. I'm going to throw it to my co-chair, Senator Mar. Hello.
Good afternoon, and I'm looking forward to getting going on our meeting so that we can move to our public hearing. Thank you.
Fantastic. And to our Senate ranking member, she says hello. I'm going to throw it to now our House ranking member.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's get started.
Just for the record, our House ranking member has said she believes that this meeting is going to take under an hour, and we're going to see if we can hold her to it as best we can. So just want to get that on the record. Let's move on to Roman numeral 3, bills for final action. We are going to skip around the agenda a little bit today, so I hope you all follow me. So under Roman numeral 3, we're going to start with item number 5, House Bill number 5261, an act prohibiting the sale of energy drinks to individuals under the age of 16. It is a JF to the floor. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. This is the same bill that we heard, not just in this past public hearing, but also in recent years. And as the main proponent of this legislation, I would like to make a statement regarding this bill for the purposes of the members of the committee on both sides, as well as those who are watching today. It has been a rough couple of years trying to get this bill over the finish line. There has been a lot of consistent issues, and that issue is that the definition of energy drinks keeps changing. And so it's a bit difficult to get into statute exactly what an energy drink is if these things keep changing. So with that statement, also is the truth that kids and adults actually are injured by these drinks. They are being marketed to kids as well. A lot of you might not know, but the FDA has been working with, I believe it's the Beverage Marketers Association, and they have self-governing rules that state that they will not be marketing some items to children. This is one of those items. However, you will also see that consistently they break those rules. Sometimes these are energy drinks that are actually developed by YouTubers whose main audience are children between the ages of 12 and 14. I'm sorry, 10 and 14. These are gamer YouTubers. Also, companies who make and market energy drinks are actually, they are advertising to kids through sporting events. So while they have the ability to quote unquote self-police, we have seen that it has not actually been working the way we want. So this is the promise that I make to everyone on this committee, on both sides of the aisle, as well as everyone watching. We understand that this bill is going to have the same problems now as it has for the past few years. But because of the short deadlines and the urgency with which we need to act to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our children, we would like to vote this bill out of committee with my solemn promise that I will continue to work on it to find language that works for everyone. And additionally, that before this bill comes to the floor at all, every member of this committee will have an opportunity to review and give input to the chairs on any final language before it hits the floor of the House, as it is a House bill. With that being said, thank you for giving me a moment to say that. And are there any questions? Yes, Representative Dauphinais.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for that description of what this bill actually is. I expressed several concerns during hearing with this bill, and I still have those same concerns. This isn't the first time this bill has come up. You know, I've taken painstakingly looked at many charts that show that these energy drinks actually have less caffeine and less sugar than most of the caffeinated drinks that our children are exposed to, that be it Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, They can go into any store and purchase espresso drinks filled with sugar, much more than any energy drink would have. So that being said, it just seems a little silly that we're going to ban energy drinks for those under 16. The other, concerns and questions I would have was, for example, how are you going to monitor this? Most children under 18, many of them don't even have their driver's license. So they don't even have an ability to show any kind of ID. How is that going to look? And then are we going to then ban coffee drinks too? Because to be consistent, and if those concerns are about the health, safety, and welfare of our children, we should be banning those drinks as well. Not suggesting we do. I'm just saying to be consistent, we would do the same for all of these drinks. I would, ask the question too, what is the difference between a 16 and 17-year-old body and brain versus a child that's 15 and we're banning the drinks for them? Is it not harmful to 16 and 17-year-olds? So I have many concerns with this bill. It's come up before. I will be voting no. I think that we need to look at what we're trying to achieve, right? I think the goal is to protect children, which I appreciate, but banning these drinks is just not consistent with everything else that's on the market and available to our children under 16. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to just address those concerns in case there are other members of our committee who share those concerns. I'd like to call your attention to lines 5 through 8, where we define energy drink in this particular legislation, where it means a soft drink that contains A, not less than 80 milligrams of caffeine per 9 fluid ounces, and B, oh boy, my chemist husband is going to kill me for butchering this one, methylexanines, B vitamins, and one or more herbal ingredients or an ingredient labeled energy blend. So while we haven't actually received any testimony this year about those lines 5 through 8, I would like to call the attention of this committee to the testimony that we heard in years prior, that in fact, it is not simply about the amount of caffeine on a label. It's the fact that there would be one or rather 2 or more items that act as stimulants. The lines 5 through 8 get to that. So something like a Starbucks beverage that actually that wouldn't be covered under this. It would have to have the caffeine plus the other items that are known stimulants. Are there any other questions? Yes, Mr. Francesco.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. So a couple questions I have for clarification on this bill. Do we know what the sales are in Connecticut of energy drinks right now and what the tax revenue is that the state takes in?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Can we get that information?
I'm sure
Through
that
Elsie?
information would be available from maybe the Beverage Marketers Association, maybe it'd be available from the Office of Fiscal Analysis, but that is not information that we have available to us at this moment.
Okay. It's important information that I think we should have. I would think the state has some sort of line item for what type of tax revenue that we take in from energy drinks. We'll certainly see if we can find that information. Representative Dauphinay made a good point about caffeine and coffee. I don't know, I'm sure there's a lot of coffees out there that are high in caffeine, but I'm assuming coffee like espresso, which probably has even a lot more caffeine in it. And actually they say tea has more caffeine in it than coffee. So that's a concern. A question on this particular bill, and I want to just talk a minute about the casinos. We do have minors that do go into a casino. They can't go into the gaming area, but they can certainly walk through the mall. They have a kids area for them at the casino. Would this also apply to energy drinks being sold at the casino for minors?
Yes, absolutely it would.
Okay, so it would include the casinos. Okay. We talk a lot about the caffeine and you mentioned a word in here and I can't even pronounce it. One of the ingredients, But I look at all our food supply today, the GMOs in our food supply. There's actually weed killer I've read in cereals. There's so many different bad ingredients in food that you can't even pronounce. And I always say, if there's an ingredient in there that I cannot pronounce, it can't be good. And anything that has a long shelf life can't be good. So these are all things that are obviously harmful to your health. Do we start banning everything? I mean, people have the right, I believe, to certainly make their own choices. And certainly if a parent feels that their child wants to have an energy drink, I believe the food consumption that we eat today is far more harmful than the occasional energy drink that a student or a child may consume. This is a free market. There's so many other issues out there that we could be dealing with. Listen, we approve of children, or not children, let me just rephrase that. We approve of marijuana being legal where children can certainly get that. We don't want to, you had made a statement that we want to make health and safety concern of our children our number one, and certainly we agree with that. I certainly agree with that. But we do a lot of things in this state that are contradict. It's almost somewhat hypocritical. We allow children to have their bodies mutilated without their parents' consent. We allow children to have abortions without their parents' consent. But yet now we want to ban energy drinks because we feel it's not safe for them. There's a lot of other issues, I believe, in this state that are not safe for children that certainly should be a priority. So, Madam Chair, I'm certainly not going to support this bill today. I think we need to be consistent, and we can't start banning everything. People need to be accountable to themselves. They need to certainly make their own choices. Parents get involved. I think education on all of these products is a great idea. Certainly, we can educate the children on the harms and effects of many products, and certainly they can make those decisions for themselves. I don't think somebody at the age of 16 is a minor, like a 10-year-old that maybe can't make those decisions. Children today at the age of 16 are pretty knowledgeable. They know a lot. And I think they're able to make those decisions by themselves. So, Madam Chair, for those reasons, I will certainly not be supporting this bill today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just for clarification to members of the committee, once again, this bill does not ban the ingestion of energy drinks at any certain age. It is simply the sale, which would make parents able to oversee the ingestion of these drinks for their children. They are still free to drink them if their parents buy them for them. And just also for clarification to members of the committee, children under the age of 18 cannot get a tattoo without a parent's permission. And I believe it is 13 for body piercing. Senator Anwar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I just wanted to clarify some of the thoughts. I just want to make sure that families or children who are listening to this do not get any confusion. A statement was made that children can get cannabis. It is illegal for children to get cannabis in our state. So I just wanted to make sure so no children or adults can think that that's happening. Can they get it illegally? Perhaps, but it's illegal. And that's the important thing. And I also wanted to say that based on the concept of whataboutism, we cannot pass a single bill in this building, because if we want to do an all or none phenomena, we will not be able to move in the right direction on protecting the children. The third thing is this is about life and death for some children, and that's very relevant. So to give an example that certain foods may be bad, if God forbid any of the foods result in death of children, I hope this body and everybody in this building would be involved to try and protect them. So with this rationale, there have been deaths, not one, many. And then there have been hospitalizations and complications. So that's why there's relevance in doing this, because there are associated challenges to the health and well-being of the children, including death. So that's why there's relevance to this. And the age factor, it's well studied that as the children age, the risk of addiction to some of the caffeinated and other addictions can actually be much more if they start at a younger age. So while 16 is not the ideal age, but at the same time, 16 is a good way to start because if they're starting at 13, 14, or 15, there is going to be a higher potential of addiction for long term. So I wanted to make sure that we do not leave a vacuum around some of the information. I respect each and everyone, and I respect the perspectives, and people vote their conscience based on the information that they have. But I wanted to clarify those, and thank you for allowing me to speak, Madam Chair, sorry. President, wow.
Hey, you never know. No. Thank you, Dr. Anwar. I appreciate you. Are there any other questions or concerns from members of the committee? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
A motion has been made and seconded to JF to the floor, agenda item number 5, House Bill 5261, an act prohibiting the sale of energy drinks to individuals under 16 years of age. Representative Linehan,
Linehan votes yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Marr votes yes.
Representative Kitt,
Representative Kitt votes yes.
Senator Kushner, Representative Dauphiné,
Dauphiné votes no.
Senator Seminara,
No.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Arnone,
Representative Arnone votes yes.
Representative Boyd, Senator Cohen, Representative Comey, Representative Hayes, Representative Lanou. Can you speak that into the mic, please?
No.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
No.
Representative Napoli, Representative Pizzuto,
No.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Representative Sanchez, and Representative Wielander.
Representative Wielander votes yes and looks forward to continuing this discussion.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Representative Hayes votes no.
Thank you.
You have that recorded, Mr. Clerk? Great.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Votes will stay open until 2 p.m. Now we're looking at item number 4, House Bill 5262, an act concerning a sexual abuse and assault survey, LCO number 2486, a JFS to the floor. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. This is substitute language. If you look into your packets, it's LCO number 2486. And essentially what this does is it ties the survey, which has been in existence since 2014, but hasn't actually been utilized. It ties it to the CDC survey that goes to students. And it requires that districts return that survey, as the CDC survey is also required for return. I want to make note that this survey is not a survey of children. It is a survey of administrators in the schools to ensure that there are services available and that people are reacting appropriately if there has been a concern about sexual abuse within the school system. Are there any questions? Representative Dauphiné.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the opportunity to speak about this bill. You know, I've never been a fan of these surveys. I've looked at many of them. I have several concerns. One is that parents, if they don't want the child to participate in most of these surveys, they must opt out rather than opt in. I'm not a fan of opting out. I always believe that parents should have to opt in. It makes them aware of what questions are being asked of their students and children. And I think that oftentimes things are overlooked when you have to opt out. So I always prefer that opt-in option, just like your child going on a field trip or getting Tylenol in a school. This particular survey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think is 14 pages long. It asks an array of questions, and I know it's just about adding questions to it or getting different information, but in general, I'm just not a fan of these surveys, so I will be a no today. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Representative Kitt.
Madam Chair, just a point of clarification. Students will not be taking the survey. It's strictly for administrators. Is that correct?
That is correct. Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. I think that the good ranking member was talking more about the CDC survey, which is already in law. This survey is different. This just connects it. The CDC survey has already been put into law a couple of years ago that they are required to take it and send it back. Those are to the students. As I had said earlier, this survey is only for administrators and they're adults, and I believe it's just one page. And that will come back to I believe if we look, Madam LCO, who does the survey come back to in this legislation? I'm sorry, that was our gentleman LCO, Mr. Cordima.
I believe it's, the survey goes back to the department, let me just make sure, Department of Public Health. Is there, Department of Public Health is the one administering the Connecticut School Health Survey, of which this is being attached.
Great, thank you. So it comes back to the Department of Public Health. Again, this survey it is not seen by students. It is not answered by students. It is not touched by students. It is strictly to administrators within the school system to ensure that they have the tools needed to respond if and when, God forbid, a student is involved somehow with sexual assault. Yes, Representative Dauphinais for the second time.
Thank you. Just because you clarified, is it anonymous would be a question. And then I'm wondering why, if it's going to public health, why aren't we sending this to public health? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
No, ma'am, it is not anonymous because it's only asked of administrators and not children. So the questionnaire itself is about how they are responding to sexual abuse. It is not about children who are being sexually abused. So there really is no identifying information within that. So the part that makes it not anonymous is that the administrators say, this is how we've had to deal with it. We could likely use more training or something of that regard. And I'm sorry, madam, what was the second half of your question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was about public health. If this information is for public health, why isn't this not going through public health is my question.
Well, the call of this committee is about children, and this is about children. The information does also come back to the Committee on Children so we can view it. But essentially, this is because it is a matter concerning children, and we work with the Department of Public Health. It is not outside of our scope. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna yield to our Madam Senate Ranking Member.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I too have two questions. So this is for administrators of school districts to fill out, or actual teachers as well?
School districts, administrators of the school districts, principals, superintendents.
Only.
Correct.
Okay. And again, why wouldn't this go through, if this was being sought after, why isn't this going through education?
Historically, the Committee on Children has been the leader in sexual assault education regarding children. This is within our shared purview and cognizance.
And if I can indulge one more question, do you have a copy of this survey? How long is this survey? And this would be a mandate again for educational professionals to complete, correct?
This survey was sent to your email inbox a few weeks ago. Yes, it will be a mandate. It already really has been part of the mandate. It was passed originally as part of legislation in 2014. It came out of that legislation. However, the State Department of Education had not done what they were supposed to do through that. Essentially, there was a working group that developed this, and because it was not totally spelled out in statute, it kind of kept falling off the list. And so what we're doing now is codifying it within these statutes and tying it to the CDC survey. The CDC survey is the survey that goes to certain districts, not all, every year in a rotating fashion, to have people have the children respond about their school climate. And that comes back. When a school district is chosen by the federal government within Connecticut to be to have to fill out that survey, which they're already required by law, then additionally, that would trigger this for that school district to also fill out, the administrator fill out the form and the survey that is sent along with it.
So if a school district is not a chosen district for the CDC survey, they would not get this survey, or they would get this survey regardless?
They would not get this survey.
Thank you for the clarity, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome, Madam Ranking Member. Representative Master Francesco.
Thank you. A little clarification on this, because this bill seems to be in the same section as the school climate survey. And in that particular section, it says the survey is for students grades 9 to 12. Okay, so I get that. That's in part of this bill. The new part that's included in here, it says that on or after July 1st, 2020, each administration of such survey, I guess what I'm trying, shall include a sexual abuse and assault awareness prevention survey. So when they talk about such survey, are they talking about the survey that already exists that the students take, and now the administrators are going to be including in that a part about sexual abuse?
Ma'am, let me clarify though, because I just want to make sure that you're asking the question as I understand it. This survey, yes, it will be connected to the districts that are chosen for the CDC survey. However, this survey only goes to the administrators within that district and not to the children. So the children will be taking one survey, and that survey includes questions on sexual abuse and adult sexual misconduct towards children.
Mm-hmm.
When those students are answering those questions, it is equally as important to get a response from the administration to say, these are the services that we have available for children when they have been sexually abused, when there has been adult sexual misconduct. These are the services that we have. So now we're having the information come back to us of those questions that are already in law that the students are answering. And in addition, we have the ability for another survey to be answered only by administrators so that we understand what services are available for those kids that have answered questions required by law in the other survey. Does that make sense to you, ma'am?
Okay, I think I understand
Okay.
now. So students take one survey, administrators that are chosen, right, within that district will take a different survey.
Correct.
A totally different survey than what the students are taking.
Correct.
Okay. And that survey will include obviously personal questions, kind of like they do with the students, I'm assuming, through you?
No, ma'am. I believe that the survey is about the services available to students within the district regarding sexual assault. There's no personal identifying information regarding sexual assault.
Okay, so it's about services that are provided to these children should they need it based on what their survey was based on the answers for their survey. So there's services. So I guess I'm confused as you're doing a survey. A survey is an opinion. You're asking the administrators certain questions. I don't understand how that folds into giving the student information about the services they provide. Usually, to me, that would just be an administrative thing. Should a child fill out this survey, which is anonymous anyway, right? But should a child come to you that has problems, is automatic. These are the services that we provide. So I guess I'm trying to figure out how a survey, asking a question, folds into giving them information of services provided. It's probably a little confusing, but it
It
doesn't
is
make a lot of
confusing.
sense to me.
It sounds to me like you're still conflating the two surveys and who is taking them. Am I correct about that?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how a survey, the results of a survey is questions that you ask. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? How does that survey, the results of that survey, result in services that we provide for students? I mean, a student comes to you, they have problems. The school department, it should be automatically, these are the services that we can provide for the student. I don't understand why a survey needs to be taken. I guess that's the question.
A survey needs to be taken, ma'am. Have you, and this is rhetorical, so I'll reframe. Every member of this committee and this community have seen that on an almost monthly or multiple times per month, on that basis, there is adult sexual misconduct happening within our schools, whether it be a coach or a teacher, most recently an IT professional within a school system having inappropriate sexual relations with a minor.
Right.
This survey gets to the heart of, are you looking at the things you're supposed to be looking at, school district? Does the superintendent need more awareness within its ranks? Do they need help? Do they need more social workers? Do they need to have mandated reporter training? Those answers will all come back to those who provide the help that they need to ensure that adult sexual misconduct in schools doesn't happen again. So simply asking the students, which is hugely important, and I have been a huge proponent of that for as long as I've been in this legislature. But additionally, if we are not ensuring that the adults who are in charge aren't adequately prepared to handle when it happens, then we are doing these children a complete disservice. And that is the point of having two separate surveys.
Thank you for that answer. And I think you had mentioned before that this survey was sent to us. Do we have a copy of this survey for you?
To the best of my knowledge, it was indeed sent to you. Yes.
So obviously I must have missed that. This survey taken by administrators, is it anonymous or is their name on it?
Their name and school district will be a part of it so that if they need help, help can be given to them.
Understood. Should an administrator not want to fill out this survey, what happens? Is this something has to be negotiated through union contracts, through negotiation?
No, it is not.
Okay. I need a little bit more information on this. I'm going to vote no today. I need to take a look at that survey to see what it is, but I certainly understand. I understand the bill now, but certainly need to look into this further. So I'll be a no today. Thank you to flag it.
You're welcome. Yes, Senator.
Thank you so much for indulging me yet one more time. I have had the opportunity to look at the survey, and the survey does specify that the district would have to find one administrator to complete this, or however, the statute that we have proposed does not reflect that. I'm just making you aware of that point.
There may be an opportunity to further reflect upon that and decide if it is in our best interest to add that on the floor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members online? Nope, seeing none. Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
A motion has been made and seconded to JFS to the floor. Agenda item 4, House Bill 5262. An act concerning a sexual abuse and assault survey, LCO number 2486. Representative Linehan,
Yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Marr votes yes.
Representative Kit,
Yes.
Senator Kushner, Representative Dauphiné,
Dauphiné's a no.
Senator Seminara,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Arnone,
Representative Arnone votes yes.
Representative Boyd, Senator Cohen, Representative Comey, Representative Hayes,
Representative Hayes votes no.
Representative Lanu,
No.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
No.
Representative Napoli, Representative Pizzuto,
No.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Representative Sanchez, and Representative Welander.
Representative Welander votes yes.
Thank you.
Votes will be held open until 2 o'clock. And if you could just give me just 1 second, please, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Coming back to order, we'd like to move to item number 2, Senate Bill number 217, an act implementing a universal patient intake form for recipients of behavioral health services for children, LCO number 2512, a JFS to the floor. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Senator Marr, would you like to explain the difference in the JFS language?
Thank you. Yes, I would. The JFS language removes requirement regarding utilization of the form by providers at this point. It adds members to a working group, namely an APRN with psychiatric mental health certification, an LMFT, and an LMSW. It extends the date by which DPH must develop the form to January 1st, 2026, and requires DPH to submit a report to the Children's Committee containing working group recommendations, the form, requirements and guidelines for use of the form, and rather than requiring DPH to provide the form and guidelines to providers. So that is the language.
And it's great. Thank you very much, Madam Co-Chair. I love this bill. Are there any questions? Representative Dauphiné.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know you love this. I would just say that I believe it should go to public health because it is in regard to that purview. So I would be a no on that, but thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam. Just for clarification for members of the committee and for those watching at home, that anytime a bill is passed out of this committee, it then goes to something called screening, where screening will decide if in fact it needs to be sent there. So that is something to take a look at. Are there Representative Mastro Francesco?
Thank you. One quick question. Should this form be developed, the working group develops the form, they will come back to our committee for approval based on I'm reading it right. How would the state know if these facilities are utilizing this form?
I'm going to yield to my co-chair to answer all these questions.
So when by January 1st of 2026, it required the working group reports to DPH, which would then report to the Children's Committee. And in terms of utilizing the form the expectation is that the form will be available online as a form to be filled out and can be utilized by parents and providers.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, but how will it be mandated or regulated? How do we know if a provider decides not to use the form? I know it'll be in statute that they are supposed to. How do you monitor that?
When the working group gets together to start having these conversations, to talk about the form and its usage and what is going to be in the form, there is, and this is probably just me, an expectation that they're all going to understand the efficacy of a form such as this so that an automatic uptake will start to happen And certainly as parents start to fill out this form, because this is what parents would like to have, it will, and bring this form to providers. I don't expect to put a mandate in place. I expect this to be uptaken by providers and families because it makes it easier and quicker to provide services for children who are in extreme stress.
Okay, thank you. And because obviously you know more about this bill than I do. Where does this form land? So once the form is filled out, where does it go? Is it going to a database within the state of Connecticut? Is it going into a database that's housed by someone in the medical facility community? How does that work?
All of this will be worked out by the working group, but no, it is not going into a database. The form will be available online.
Understood. Thank you. I also do want to agree with my ranking member here, Representative Dauphiné, that it's a little complex. I think this really is an issue for public health. Do understand though, when it goes through screening, it could go to public health, but I think it should have been in public health to begin with. So I will be a no on this today, but thank you for your conversation. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your input. Are there any other questions? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
A motion has been made and seconded to JFS to the floor, agenda item 2, Senate Bill 217, an act implementing a universal patient intake form for recipients of behavioral health services for children, LCO 2512. Representative Linehan,
Yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Marr votes yes.
Representative Kit,
Kit votes yes.
Senator Kushner, Representative Dauphiné,
Daphne votes no.
Senator Seminara,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Arnone,
Representative Arnone votes yes.
Representative Boyd, Senator Cohen, Representative Comey, Representative Hayes,
Representative Hayes votes yes.
Representative Lanu,
Yes.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
No.
Representative Napoli, Representative Pizzuto,
No.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Representative Sanchez, and Representative Wieland.
Representative Wieland votes yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Reminder, votes will be open until 2 o'clock and the committee will stand at ease. The committee will now come back to order. Let the record note, please, that Representative Dauphiné has 1 minute credit that she asks for. Okay, moving on. We're still under Roman numeral 3. We're going to look at item number 1, Senate Bill number 218, an act establishing a task force to study the creation and administration of a statewide program for the delivery of bereavement and grief counseling services to children and families. It's a JFS to the floor, LCO 2500. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
The item has been moved and seconded, and I'm going to send it to my co-chair for a brief description of the substitute language.
The substitute language offers, excuse me one second, this is sorry. The substitute language includes a task force to study social isolation and loneliness experienced by residents of the state. In part, this is because of the impact we've seen of both social media and COVID and the issue, the disconnected youth that was just the report from Dalio. And what we're looking at is how children are affected by this social isolation and what can we do? Improvements in social services, establishment of community-based programs, implementation of a media campaign. And in addition, the task force will consist of a number of members, which I will not read, but they are in the bill. And this is going to be a report due on January 1st to 2025 to the General Assembly, having cognizance of these matters.
Are there any questions, concerns, or comments? Representative Dauphiné.
I'm going to be quick, Madam Chair. I just think this should go to education first. That's all. Thank you. I know it could after screening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Master Francesco.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple quick questions on part of the language on the bill. In section 1, it talks about the counseling services to children and families at no cost to participants. I'm assuming this is going to be a statewide program and it will be at no cost to children and families. Is that correct based on the language here?
So on this, if this is what the language says, then this is the way we are at the moment. Yes. And and I also wanted to mention that it will be pointing to services that already exist in the state. So we're just building on the work that was done previously on the Grief Task Force. And now we are looking at administering this statewide program. Most likely will point to nonprofits that already exist that are providing these services and looking at replication.
Thank you. So we've already had a task force on this. based
To
on what-
determine the need for this next.
phase. That particular task force that you're talking about, do we have any
Yes.
information on that?
Yes, it was sent erroneously to the Education Committee, and we have since sent it on to everyone on this committee.
Okay. And there's another part in here on line 7 and 8, says the scope of services offered by such program, including but not limited to the provisions of culturally informed services and services to marginalized communities. My question is, what is marginalized communities? What does that mean?
Communities that perhaps are not getting as many services as others because they are on the margin.
Thank you. As you mentioned, one of those surveys was sent to the Education Department Committee, and I agree with Representative Dauphiné, so I'm going to be a no on this today, but I certainly appreciate you answering my questions and the conversations. Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Anyone else? Seeing no, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
A motion has been made and seconded to JFS to the floor. Agenda item 1, Senate Bill 218, an act establishing a task force to study the creation and administration of a statewide program for the delivery of bereavement and grief counseling services to children and families, LCO 2500. Representative Linehan,
Yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Marr votes yes.
Representative Kitt,
Representative Kitt votes yes.
Senator Kushner, Representative Dauphiné,
Dauphiné's no.
Senator Seminara,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Arnone,
Representative Arnone votes yes.
Representative Boyd, Senator Cohen, Representative Comey, Representative Hayes, Representative Lanu,
Yes.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
No.
Representative Napoli, Representative Pizzuto,
No.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Representative Sanchez, Representative Welander.
Representative Welander votes yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a reminder, votes are open until 2 o'clock. Our final bill of this meeting is item number 3, House Bill 5263, an act requiring a report concerning the placement of children pursuant to the Interstate Compact on the Placement of Children, LCO number 2497. It's a JFS to the floor. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded. And is there any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. This is a substitute. And if you indulge me for just 1 second, I will be able to tell you the changes. It adds, oh, I don't have it. Oh, here it is. Representative Dauphiné is going to need that extra minute. It adds the child advocate to individuals tasked with creating the study and adds the Uniform Child Custody Jurisdiction and Enforcement Act to the study. Any questions or comments?
Do I have the floor, Madam Chair?
Yes, my apologies. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I just want to say briefly, I do thank the committee for raising this bill and bringing this forward. This is very important. As we heard from, we've heard testimony of a very disheartening story that came out of my district regarding a military family who was reassigned. We essentially, in a nutshell, from what I heard from testimony was that we all heard from during testimony last week, was we have a family where they're in that was traveling because they're reassigned from the West Coast to Groton, Connecticut, the subbase they were traveling through, briefly stopped in Tennessee to have spend Christmas with the in-laws during that time. There was an injury with one of the twin babies. Took them to the hospital, and there was some fractures with both baby boys, twin baby boys. They end up losing custody of the other child, their 2 children. Long story short, when they returned to Connecticut, the babies were taken away from them by a judge who became felony indicted judge who had to step down. It was his decision that took custody away from the mother and father involved. Since that time, there has been the Boston. They have a report from the Boston Children's Hospital that both the mother and grandmother have a gene that's consistent with rickets, that the babies have that particular gene, and that those injuries were consistent with rickets. Also during the testimony before this committee, NCIS, the Naval Investigative Service, as well as the Connecticut Attorney General of this state, cleared the parents to have custody of their baby girl, their 3rd child, based after looking at the underlying evidence in Tennessee. So essentially what we have here, and this all needs to be confirmed by the task force, but we have a report from the Boston Children's Hospital, we have the NCIS, and we have the Attorney General of this state clearing the parents, but yet there is a decision that's being held up by a judge that's been feloniously indicted in Tennessee that has since left the bench. So everybody who is involved in this so far is saying Connecticut's hands are tied based on these compacts. So with this task force, so I would like to see happen during this task force, what the law, this language says is we're going to have the chief court administrator of the state, the child advocate, and the DCF commissioner. Number one, they can let them look at this case, let them confirm all the information that we heard during the testimony. And then also look to thread with a very fine needle. Is there a way to reform these compacts to make sure that Connecticut essentially has some sort of oversight and we can, we're not beholden solely to a decision by a judge in another state, and that we have discretion to protect Connecticut citizens. Number one, protect Connecticut families, and protect Connecticut children being number one. So I want to thank the committee very much for raising this bill, for having this hearing. Let's move it forward. Let's get this task force. We've got the right people involved in the task force. Let them examine this closely and see what they can report back to us next year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're very welcome. And is there anyone else that would like to say a few words? Senator Anwar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I had the opportunity to listen to the testimony. It was heartbreaking and very concerning. If I understood the testimony correctly, it was Ehlers-Danlos syndrome rather than rickets, but I could be inaccurate. I think that case is a very sad case, and this bill is not going to be able to change anything about that case. The reason is that the 50-state compact is above the capacity of the legislative body in Connecticut to address this. But I do think that there's probably other ways to be able to help this family, and that could be through the commissioner of DCF reaching out and again with the perhaps through the Judiciary Committee or one of the judges from the state of Connecticut can intervene, or other highly elected officials can have an intervention and conversation. But this, if we think that as a state we are going to change the 50-state ICPC, it's not happening. So I don't want to give false hope to a family who is already hurting. So I'm just going to be a no on this right now, and with the recognition that this is not going to help the family even if it passes. That's why I feel it's worthy to just make sure that we are accurate with the people who are already grieving and struggling with the challenges that they have. But there's probably another way to be able to address this, and that's something that we should be able to look into. But thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Senator Anwar. Representative Dauphinais.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I would say that from what I understand, this compact is decades old. I think it's time we look at it. I also know that this family, we have a choice in Connecticut whether we participate in this compact or not. So I would probably disagree respectfully that it could be different. So I would urge all of my colleagues to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Representative, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few comments. Just wanted to thank my colleague for the time and effort he put in listening to the family's testimony and all the due diligence that was given both by the medical profession and the judicial people that were involved locally, like our Attorney General, that it shows the world out there that the Children's Committee is trying to help. I can't imagine how every day must feel like a month that they're away from their children. They've been proven that they're great parents. They were given custody of their daughter. And I think that we just have to raise the level of awareness by bringing this forward, and hope that it passes through the 50-state compact at some point. We have to start somewhere. I think this is a good starting point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative. Anyone else? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
A motion has been made and seconded to JFS to the floor. Agenda item 3, House Bill 5263, an act requiring a report concerning the placement of children pursuant to the Interstate Compact of the Placement of Children. This is an LCO number 2497. Representative Linehan,
Linehan, yes.
Senator Marr,
Senator Mar votes no.
Representative Kit,
Kit votes yes.
Senator Kushner, Representative Dauphiné,
Dauphiné votes yes.
Senator Seminara,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes no.
Representative Arnone,
Representative Arnone votes yes.
Representative Boyd, Senator Cohen, Representative Comey,
Representative Comey votes yes.
Representative Hayes, Representative Lanu,
Yes.
Representative Mastro Francesco,
Yes.
Representative Napoli, Representative Pizzuto,
Yes.
Representative Roberts,
Representative Roberts votes yes.
Representative Sanchez, and Representative Wieland.
Representative Wieland votes yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a reminder that votes are held open until 2 o'clock, at which time we will then go into our public hearing. Thank you very much. This meeting is in recess.
Hey, Christian,
Yes.
could I cast some votes?
Yes. Do you need me to say the titles?
Sure.
Or, Senate Bill 217, an act implementing a universal patient intake form. Is that a yes or?
Representative Comey votes yes.
For House Bill 5261 and prohibiting the sale of energy drinks to individuals under 16 years of age.
Yes, Representative Comey votes yes.
HB 5262, an act concerning a sexual abuse and assault survey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
5263, an act requiring a report concerning the placement of children pursuant to the Interstate Compact. Oh, I already have you.
Didn't I just vote on that? Yeah, that's it. Is there consent or is that it?
Oh, consent.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, Christian, I'm here.
This was for 2118, an act establishing a task force to study the creation and administration of a statewide program for the delivery of bereavement and grief counseling services.
Yes. Representative Comey votes yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Mhm. Representative Napoli?
Hi, Christian. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Do you need me to say the titles of the bills?
You can just say the bill number. That's fine.
Perfect.
That works for you.
So right now I have SB 217.
On my agenda, it starts with 218. Senate Bill
218.
218. Yep. Yes.
And then I have 217.
Yes.
5263.
Yes.
5262.
Yes.
And then 5261.
I know the good chair wants to continue to do some work on this bill. I do have some concerns, but I will vote yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, Christian.
Hello, Representative Sancho.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, yep.
Do you need me to say the titles of the bills?
Yes, please.
You got it. So we start with SB 218, an act establishing a task force to study the creation and administration of a statewide program for the delivery of bereavement and grief counseling services.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, so that's a yes.
Yes.
I have 217, an act implementing a universal patient intake form for recipients of behavioral health services.
Yes.
I have HB 5262, an act concerning a sexual abuse and assault survey.
Yes.
I have 5261, an act prohibiting the sale of energy drinks to individuals under 16 years of age.
Yes.
Okay, and then I have 5263, an act requiring a report concerning the placement of children pursuant to the interstate compact.
Yes.
All right, we're all set.
Okay, thank you, Kristen.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Christian or Brian, I'm here to vote.
Hello.
Hi, Christian.
Hi. Do you have the, do you want me to say the bill titles?
You can just read the bill numbers, the item numbers on the agenda.
Sure.
I have
Is
the
it-
titles.
Item number one, SB 218.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
I have item number two, SB 217.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
I have item number 35263.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
I have item number 45262.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
And then I have item number 55261.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Checking. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Christian, can I vote?
Yes, so do you have the agenda or do you need me to say the bill titles?
I do not, I have a copy of, let me just see. I thought I had the agenda up, but I guess I don't have a copy of the agenda up.
Do you need me to say the titles?
That'd be great.
Cool. So I have SB 218, an act establishing a task force to study the creation and administration of a statewide program for the delivery of bereavement, and grief counseling services to children and families.
Yes, I'm a yes on that.
217, an act implementing a universal patient intake form.
Yes.
HB 5262, an act concerning a sexual abuse and assault survey.
Yes.
HB 5261, an act prohibiting the sale of energy drinks to individuals under 16 years of age.
Yes.
HB 5263, an act requiring a report concerning the placement of children pursuant to the interstate compact.
Yes.
And then we're good. Cool.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you.